If you treat your personal goals like a casual hobby, you'll probably end up abandoning them. Without a clear system, our best intentions tend to fall apart quickly. The problem is that most of us rely entirely on feeling inspired. We wait for a sudden burst of motivation to work out or practice a skill, instead of looking at hard performance metrics. We also have a very distorted view of our own behavior. We naturally assume we are putting in a lot of effort, completely blind to how many days we actually skip doing the work. The fix is to start treating your life a bit more like a business. If a business wants to survive, it tracks daily sales. You can do the exact same thing by adopting a simple metric to track your daily habits. Success often comes down to having clear, undeniable evidence of your effort. When you can actually see your progress, it becomes much harder to ignore the data. In 1993, a rookie stockbroker named Trent Dyersmith started working at a bank in a small Canadian suburb, entirely overshadowed by nearby Vancouver. He didn't have much of an advantage, but he had a physical metric. He kept 2 jars on his desk. One held 120 paperclips, and the other was empty. Every time he finished a single sales call, he immediately moved 1 paperclip to the empty jar. Within 18 months of moving those paperclips, he was bringing in $5 million for his firm, and his career took off. This strategy works because it creates an inescapable visual trigger. You can clearly see exactly how much work you have left to do, sitting right there on your desk. Physical objects provide immediate, concrete evidence of your effort. When the jar is mostly empty at the end of the day, it strips away any ability to lie to yourself about your effort. Jerry Seinfeld relies on a similar visual method to write his jokes. He doesn't worry about whether a particular joke is actually funny. His only goal is to show up, write something down, and never break the chain of continuous daily effort. Seinfeld uses a physical desktop calendar just like this, drawing a large red X over the date every time he finishes writing. A growing string of successful days gives your brain a small dopamine hit, motivating you to keep going. The simple act of marking the calendar turns into its own satisfying reward. You stop stressing about some distant, perfect outcome and instead focus entirely on today's manageable process. That is what makes habit tracking so effective. It simultaneously makes the action you need to take obvious, attractive, and deeply satisfying to finish. Of course, writing down every single sales call or logging every calorie can feel like adding a tedious second chore to a habit you're already struggling to build. To fix this, you can automate your measurement. Look for data logs you already generate, like a credit card statement, that automatically tracks your spending, or a modern smartwatch that quietly logs daily steps. For everything else, you can use habit stacking. You take an action you already complete reliably and directly attach the tracking behavior to the end of it. For example, the exact moment you finish a set of exercises at the gym, you log the workout. The moment you place your dinner plate in the sink, you write down what you ate. The best tracking system requires almost zero extra thought. By anchoring it to an action you already take, it becomes an automatic reflex. Eventually, life is going to interrupt you. You'll catch a cold or get held up at work, and your perfect streak will inevitably break. When that emergency pops up, rely on one simple rule: never miss twice. Missing one day of your routine is an accident, but missing a second day in a row is the beginning of a brand new negative habit. It's important to remember that losses hurt more than equal gains help. If you lose 33% of your progress, you actually need a 50% gain just to get back to where you started. This is why even a 5-minute effort on a bad day is vital. It stops those losses from eating into your long-term results. Long-term progress isn't about avoiding failure entirely. It's about reclaiming the habit so quickly that the lapse never has a chance to derail you. Cautionary tone. There is one major danger to watch out for. It's very easy to become so obsessed with a specific number that you end up measuring the wrong thing entirely. This is a standard bathroom scale. If your only focus is forcing the number on this dial to drop, you might turn to extreme crash diets that actually damage your body, completely ignoring your overall health. Economists refer to this as Goodhart's law. When a measurement becomes the target, it ceases to be a good measure. If your primary number stalls out and kills your motivation, you can look for alternative signals of progress. Notice how your clothes fit better, or waking up with more energy, to prove you're still moving forward. Every mark on a calendar or paperclip moved is a visual vote for the person you want to become. Tracking your behavior gives you a way to see your progress and celebrate the small wins that lead to long-term change.